Welcome to Post-Burnout.com interviews. My name is Aaron Kavanagh and I'm the website's founder and editor-in-chief. Post-Burnout.com is a culture website dedicated to venerating burnt-out artists the world over. Our interviews are mainly recorded to be transcribed, but every now and again we release the audio in a series we call Post-Burnout.com interviews. If you enjoy what we do, be sure to subscribe. In this edition of Post-Burnout.com interviews, we speak with Rob Moore, the frontman of the Tullamore post-punk trio Fear Shook. He talks about the recording of the band's upcoming EP, recording in Windmill Lane Studios, punk in rural Ireland, the Offaly music scene, starting the project during COVID, balancing the band with full-time work and his family, working cross-county with the other band members, and more. Yeah, so the first thing I wanted to ask about Fear Shook was kind of just about your formation. I mean, my understanding was that it kind of started as a solo project, kind of post-COVID, and then kind of eventuated into what it is now, a three-piece.
Yeah, well, myself and the two other lads, Owen and Ozzy, they're two brothers. We've actually been playing together for years, and I know, it's just always been a hobby of ours. We've been probably doing that for, I'd say, 10, 15 years, like just messing about, like, or whatever. But like the first release was just, it kind of came out of, being at home with COVID and having nothing else to do. And like at the time, I was studying for a degree, like finishing out college and all that, and I was just, it was kind of very much locked in the house all the time, like and all that, and not getting out to play with them. Yeah, I don't not getting out to play with your friends or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, as a 40-year-old man. But but like wasn't getting out to like go practice with them or anything like that. So I don't know, I just had a couple of song ideas knocking around that I just said like sure, I just ended up kind of recording them on the laptop and just I got three songs together and just threw them up on Spotify and just said like well, it just kind of I never kind of done the anything in terms of like release the music properly or trying to get it out in any sort of fashion where you're actually looking for people to actively listen to it, like.
Yeah.
So that all that was new. It was just a case of trying to find out, well, how do you actually get your music on Spotify? How do you get it into blogs or get people to listen to it and all that? So all that it was, I guess a lot of it was just a learning curve from that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
But like like the intention was always to get back playing with lads as soon as we could, like and once everything kind of lifted again, like like the intention was always there to get back playing with them.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the first release was a solo thing, but like yeah, we've been playing together ourselves like for a long, long time now at this stage.
When would you have met them and like kind of when would you have started playing projects and what sort of music were you doing? Were you doing like covers or originals, and was it in the kind of post-punk genre that Fear Shook seems to be?
Um, I've known Ozzy since we were in primary school together, and like I probably know him since he since we were about 6 years old.
Mhm.
So that's a long, long time ago now at this stage. And so no, like we've just kind of been friends all the way through there. And yeah, so like like we would have kind of played together a little bit as as teenagers, and then just we both kind of separately ended up moving up to Dublin, and then it would be kind of like what ended up sort of happening was that say like I'd call over to his place maybe once a week or so, and like he'd have a drum kit set up there. We'd end up like kind of playing around for a couple of hours, and then but then he was kind of separately going out to Tullamore the weekends and playing with his brother Owen, and then you know so like me and Ozzy were kind of writing one set of tunes, himself and Owen were kind of writing another set, and maybe about you know once or twice a year, all three of us would actually get together and actually get to play all at once, like. But it was kind of I suppose after COVID and all that, and kind of we'd actually release music and all that, and then people actually wanting us to play gigs. So it was kind of like, okay, no, we have to actually start doing this regularly, or
Yeah.
we have to kind of try and make this thing, and actually, we have to make a go of actually actually trying to get get these songs learned off properly, get lyrics to things.
Hmm.
Like there was a lot of stuff that we've just been toying around with for years that was, I suppose, to a certain degree, kind of half finished. And I guess like when you have that pressure of like, oh, okay, we're actually finally going to play a gig. We're actually going to play this in front of other people. We should probably kind of have it into a proper shape, or we should like look at making this presentable now that people are actually going to be hearing it.
Yeah, and I think actually, if you just look at your discography, even on Spotify, you can actually see that. I mean, like when you look at that first EP or first shook altogether,
Yeah,
like it really does just seem like something that like you were kind of just. It seemed like a kind of I guess a proof of concept in a way where it's like
yeah,
um
yeah,
you're making like probably my favorite song title of yours, Home Alone 2, Lost in Dublin 15, and just it seems like it has that kind of jovial like fuck it, we'll just do whatever spirit, but it seems like as the band's progressed. Um, I think not only has the songwriting gotten stronger, I think, but I think the production too. I don't know, is your music self-produced or is it do you work with external producers?
yeah. Well, so far it's been everything that we've released so far has pretty much been all self-produced. Like, yeah, like that one, that first EP, the first, those three songs, that was just me up in the attic here recording
Mhm.
it by myself. Like I could listen to it now and kind of go like, actually, that does sound awful. And
Yeah.
I need to. That actually sounds absolutely terrible. I like the songs on it, but like, yeah, it sounds really, really rough. Like, yeah, no, we are going to re-record them. But it
Okay.
was more just like you were saying, it was like kind of a proof of concept thing. I didn't like, I never actually even told anyone I was recording it or doing anything there. I put it up there and then was like kind of texting people afterwards, going, yeah, I did a thing. Go have a listen." Yeah, yeah, that was pretty much it. Like, but then yeah, so that yeah, pretty much recorded it. Yeah, at home. The second thing, Daniel, actually that as well. I just recorded that by myself on kind of help mix it a bit, like, but
Mhm.
yeah, God love him, like, with that, like, I mean, yeah, I was kind of polishing the turd there because I mean, like, I still, yeah, it was still kind of just me in the attic with a shitty drum machine or whatever else and all that, and yeah, yeah, he kind of had his work cut out there, but after that, then we did that Astro Turf War single,
Yeah.
like the way it is though with us at the moment, we're all living in different counties. Like I'm living here in Dublin, Ozzy's down in Wicklow, Owen's down in Tullamore and Offaly. Like so, with AstroTurf Roar, like it was a lot that was still actually just us recording our parts separately and then
Yeah.
mailing them around to each other, like and all that, and kind of using Terabox or whatever just to send our parts around to each other. But Owen actually kind of looked after producing and mixing that, and actually, like, brought Ozzy down for a day down to Tullamore just to like we have like a little rehearsal room down there.
Hmm.
So he just like got him to record his drums down there, and he actually Owen made that sound fantastic. I have to say, like, he did a brilliant job of that. Like, and
Yeah.
you know, like it was a huge leap there in terms of quality and definitely. But and then next one after that as well, then Lutite. It was the same thing. It was just us like recording separately and just with that it was on center on the guitar part and I just kind of recorded some vocals over it and I was just going to release it as it was and then I think kind of at the last minute he was like, oh no, actually I have here's I do actually have drums recorded for this, like,
Yeah.
it's yeah he was like it was kind of like, oh, I found this but down the back of the couch or whatever it was, but
Yeah.
yeah, like with that, no, Owen actually spent a lot of time there, getting drums recorded, getting Ozzy to know, do well, getting a decent drum sound set up there and all that and everything. Yeah, like that's the thing, like with us, like, I mean, we're working kind of full-time jobs. We have kids and all that, and like time is fairly limited there. So it is kind of, you are like, say like, with recording the drums there, like Ozzy would have gone down, probably done maybe one or two takes. I think with Lute, he only did one take of the drums, and that was it. Like, and it's just very much like, okay, I've got a spare hour here. I can come down. I can do this, and then
Yeah.
I've yeah, like I've got to get back and look after their kids, or I've got to, I've got soccer matches to drive people to, like that sort of way. It's
Yeah.
and the same even with practice, like it's like a case of at the moment, well, like say all last year we would have been like practicing down in Tullamore, and then now at the moment that we've kind of moved our our band practice space up here to Wicklow, we're just working or we're just practicing in a warehouse just out in Wicklow there. We've kind of found a little bit of a space there, but like
Mhm.
it is very much even a case of when we are trying to coordinate band practice, it's like I'm going like, okay, I think my wife is not working this night, and I think I think you like you don't have football practice, bring the kids to this this night, and it's okay. I think, it's something that kind of has to be coordinated about like 2 or 3 weeks in advance
Yeah.
in order to to find that time. And yeah, it's even the same with like trying to get gigs sorted and all that. It's like okay, are you working this weekend? Do you think you'll be able to do this? Like
Yeah.
it's like I
Especially considering it's only like a three piece. I mean, like imagine doing that with like a band of like five or more, which is
I
always insane
no
to me. It's like,
no. I just honestly no. I
yeah,
like I even like have talked to a couple of musicians there over the last while who've said the same thing, that it is just impossible to coordinate, and
yeah,
it's like you really have to love doing it and all that, like, and uh, like I mean, especially like for us it is definitely a case of it's very much a hobby thing, like, and so you're kind of doing it for for the love of it, and some something that you really enjoy doing, and it's something that you always do. But yes, yeah, so sometimes you kind of do have to move heaven and earth to
yeah, sure,
to get to get stuff like this going, and to get things up and running.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's interesting because like I mean, obviously you guys are adults with like full lives now with this, but I remember
yeah,
like being in bands and teenagers, and that was still the case then. It seems like that never ceases. You know, the idea
yeah.
of coordination and scheduling.
Oh yeah, no, and even actually, I was talking to one of the guys from that band Soft and Crime there a little while
Mhm.
ago, and we were both joking about how, like, yeah, it's kind of like you might get 4 or 5 gigs a year, and
Yeah.
it's it's like that tour of Australia can wait, or it's that's not gonna probably not gonna happen anytime soon. Like, yeah, like it's I don't know, it's like uh, yeah, I don't know how people manage to actually get like say tours around England booked or anything like that. Like it's for us it's like, okay, at the moment we've got like one gig booked in John Lee's pub down in Tullamore in August, and then actually our drummer Ozzy's getting married in September, so we're kind of like, okay, well we'll kind of write off like
Yeah.
the rest of August and September
You
off,
could do a
like, and
wedding
then
band shift.
yeah. Learn a couple of ska tunes, like, or whatever. It'll be fun, like,
Learn Sweet
but like,
Caroline time.
oh yeah, totally. Like, yeah, Brown Eyed Girl, all of them. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Actually, I think I don't know. There's talk of myself and Owen playing at the reception, so, or playing at the ceremony itself. So I thought we still have to work that out. But yeah, no, but it is like, like you do, yeah, you kind of have all the adult stuff here. Like even, yeah, lay on to the interview today because, like, it's like arguing with kids trying to get them to bed. It's
Sure, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So like, I mean, it like there is like a lot of coordination there, and even like, yeah. So we've got like one gig booked in Tullamore, and then like it's kind of like, okay, after the wedding's done, we'll look at booking other gigs. We'll look at trying to get more stuff done, and as well, like, yeah, we have. Oh, you were asking there as well. Like, do we work with external producers? But like, we have started working with a friend of Ozzy's called Richie Ford, and we're like, and again, it's a case of like, say uh, he's a really good producer. He's a huge amount of experience there and all that, and Ozzy works in sound, in lighting and sound engineering, and he works in that area. So like we're really looking to kind of get him just to be able to record this, because himself and Ozzy are really good friends, and like what we've done sounds fantastic so far. Yeah, really shits all over that first EP. Yeah, yeah, it's but like the yeah, so. we're um so we're working with him, but again, it's a case of like, we're trying to coordinate that around, okay, when's he free? Like we've done about 3 or 4 recording sessions with him. They've all gone really well, but it is a case of like trying to coordinate that around adult life.
Around life itself, yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But like
sorry.
we were lucky enough there to get like actually, yeah, I don't know, the big thing for us was we were lucky enough to get like one night in Windmill Lane to like
Yeah,
record the drums, which was amazing. Like, and that
yeah,
was like, yeah, that's kind of been the highlight of this whole thing so far. I didn't really like, was actually doing that. Like,
yeah.
but yeah, so it is like, yeah, you're trying to coordinate this around yeah, being an
That
adult. And yeah.
that's kind of cool, being part of the Windmill Lane lineage, I guess. You
Yeah,
can kind
yeah,
of say.
yeah. I
One
know,
thing.
Bruce Springsteen, pure shook.
One thing I wanted to ask was,
Yeah,
when it came to kind of just taking a step back. I mean, when it came to the kind of music that influenced Fear Shook, I mean,
yeah.
what were you listening to at the time? Was it kind of what you were listening to at the pandemic in particular that was influenced the sound, or was it kind of just what you've listened to growing up, or
I think kind of probably just what I've listened to growing up. I think like, and yeah, like I mean, I don't know. I'm always kind of looking for new music. I kind of don't tend to stay listening to the same thing forever. Like, there are kind of, each of us kind of has our own kind of staples or whatever that, or particular bands that we love. Like, like say for myself, it's be someone like Fugazi and just uh yeah, it'd be stuff like that, like, or massive Converge fan. Same with like actually Ozzy as well. Actually, three of us are all massive Converge fans, so
yeah.
that's a big thing there. But like, I just can't quite scream that way yet. Like, but yeah, but no, like but yeah, so like there are certain kind of go-tos there, like like for all of us, like say like Owen, is a massive Rory Gallagher fan, like is also really big into like Primus, all stuff like that, and Ozzy is mad into like Rancid and
Yeah.
Mutile Band and bands like that, and then but then like say there are certain things where we kind of diverge off. Like, say I know Owen's really big into a lot of hip hop, and I think like I think I did hear him mention Post Malone at one point. If he reads this afterwards, and I've got that wrong, I apologize. But like and say with myself, like I'd be really big in stuff like say like Jeff Rosenstock, Deerhoof, all bands like that. So I mean, and like we're pretty open-minded when it comes to what we play as well. Like, like we generally kind of, we're pretty open-minded when it comes to like trying out different styles and all that. And I do think that comes across in like a lot of the music that we're working on now, and say a lot of the music that we're working on for this EP. Like you can kind of hear, in certain songs there are like, say there's like bits of like kind of stoner rock and you know, but then also kind of like kind of weird elements of like kind of funk and hip hop kind of creeping in there as well. So I know yeah, we're definitely like, yeah, well, we're pretty open minded when it comes to all that. Like,
That's perfect. And when it came, so I think you're the first act I've ever interviewed from Offaly. You were mentioning Tullamore. I know you're not based
yeah,
there. You're kind of a bit peripatetic at the moment,
yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, what's the music scene in Offaly like? I mean, because is it is it versatile? Is there opportunities for people who are probably a little out there like yourselves to kind of get heard?
Well, like I mean, say you would have like say venues like you'd have a venue like John Lee's Pub down there, which is very open to basically hosting any type of music. And say like I mean, they'll have like say stuff like us, or or say even like they've had girl band playing down there, like, and then the next night you might have like Paddy Casey or I don't know, the Hot House Flowers or whoever playing, like, but they're very good for kind of fostering new music and very encouraging that way. And like there are like they're having kind of pretty good bands that have come out of there over the years, like say, bands like Glimmerman and Scary Era actually
Yeah, yeah.
is a pretty big one there. Like,
It's funny. I
so
just
like I mean,
mentioned them in an interview the other day.
oh yeah,
Scary
somebody else
era.
did they?
No, I
Yeah,
mentioned
yeah.
them. I was talking about
Oh, did you?
Irish hip hop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no, no. Like, and they like, I mean, yeah, they're kind of one of the first Irish hip hop bands, and they came out of Tullamore. So, like, I mean, it's a funny one. Like, I mean, I think it's one of those places that probably people don't maybe expect good music to come out of, and yeah. So I think I think when it does, you kind of surprise people. So,
yeah. Well, I wasn't. I just want to make clear I wasn't making any aspersions about Offaly.
no, no,
I
no,
was
no, no.
genuinely asking what's the music scene like there.
Oh
No,
yeah,
because
no, 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 no. Yeah,
it is interesting. Yeah, because like I think like you know a lot of places like in Ireland, like I think the kind of music clubs you always hear about are like Dublin, Cork, Galway,
yeah, yeah.
Limerick, and Belfast, perhaps, and that's kind of it. And it's like I'm very interested in kind of the music scenes elsewhere too, and I think
Well,
you know
actually, it's
check
funny
out.
enough. Actually, there's one that like I've kind of come across just from like kind of doing this music and finding out about other Irish bands. But like around Ballina, there actually seems to be this like kind of pretty big punk scene there. But like
Okay.
with bands like Yop, there's actually they're well worth checking out. They just brought out like an absolutely amazing EP there earlier on this year. But even as well, actually, like down, I was talking to one guy from a band called uh, they're called Hubert Selby Junior Infants is the name of the band,
Okay.
and they're
That's a
really
cool
good. They're
name.
really good. It's a great name. It's a
Oh, it
great name.
is.
Yeah. But but like say like it's a guy Jamie Grimes plays with them. We kind of be chatting a fair bit about say doing all this like but he was just saying about how he played down in Waterford there a little while ago in a place called Luca Records, and he was raving about it because he said like I think they're so eager to see something different and
Hmm.
something kind of not a little bit unusual that like he said they went down uh they played in this record shop that kind of held about 50 people and everyone was really into it because I think they were just so excited
Yeah,
to kind of hear something that wasn't, I don't know, maybe a covers pub band or whatever.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I think there's like so many like really cool venues throughout the country, like
yeah,
in like little pockets of places. Like it'd be kind of cool. Like I think I mean I think a lot of time Irish bands will tour domestically, will tour basically the whole country, but like
yeah,
it's something that I think would be kind of worthwhile even for like smaller international acts or even bigger ones too, just to kind of
yeah.
check out some of the places we have here.
Well, that was actually one thing. My brother and his wife, like they're huge heavy metal fans, and they went to see a band called Night Demon there in they're can't remember if they're actually English or American, but yeah, I think they went to see them down in Limerick, but they were saying like, they were talking to them after the gig and said they played in Dublin and they only got about 50 or 60 people
Yeah,
into the Grand Social, but then they went down to Limerick and places like pretty much sold out. And they were actually saying to like to to my brother and like they were saying that like next tour that they do, like they're probably just not gonna bother with Dublin because like they were kind of saying that like it's I think it's like people have so much choice in Dublin that things probably end up sort of getting forgotten about or it's yeah like whereas like if you kind of go outside that or go to places that people aren't expecting I think they're maybe yeah they're a little bit more excited to see you
yeah,
like whereas like I think people get a bit blasé and
yeah.
yeah up and up and they're like yeah
Yeah, no, I think that's totally fair, and like I think actually
yeah
you are seeing. I'm seeing like a lot of tours for shows in Ireland, and Limerick seems to be the Cashba and Dolan seems to be kind of becoming two
yeah
hotspots for shows for international acts now too, which is really cool to see.
yeah yeah
Yeah, yeah. So you're talking earlier about your new EP. I was wondering if you could maybe just talk a little bit about that. So, at the moment, the last single that came out was Luddite,
yeah
October 2022, I think.
yeah
So
uh
this would be the first. So will this be the next thing that's being released by the band? Yeah.
yeah and not sure when it's going to happen. Still being recorded. Yeah,
TBD.
so yeah, exactly. It's very much so, very much so. Yeah, I know because we were kind of joking about it there, like the last recording session we had, like the the guy Richie that we're working with was like, do you have a deadline on it? And like, is anyone waiting on this? So we're kind of, we're joking like, say like, yeah, maybe our moms, but yeah, that's about it. Like, but no, that it's very much, yeah, uh, a, a future date. We're not 100% sure when yet. Like, we'll probably maybe try and break out one or two kind of preview songs, and then you know probably do like a 6 track EP, then
Yeah,
have bring out full 6 track EP then after that. Like, but it is like but we've been kind of working with your man Richie, and it's like say like I mean we've just spent years like just like three of us in a room playing together and playing at each other, whereas like you're actually kind of stepping into a room with him and then having him going like, okay, well, actually, yeah, take this out of the song, don't do this, like actually having someone critique it and go
yeah,
like, they're, yeah, like it's you don't see it yourself because you're not, because I think you're probably, but I think it's there is an element of like, well, we've always done it this way.
hmm
Why would we do it any different, like or whatever? And
yeah,
it's good to kind of get someone there that has kind of like a fresh perspective on it and who's kind of worked with bands before and kind of is big into how things sound that can actually and is also not afraid to tell you when things sound like shit as well. So that is actually it's yeah.
And how much in that setting though? Because like I guess it's kind of new, like working with an external producer. I mean, in that setting, how much kind of give and take do? How much do you kind of defend your bits and go, no, we like this, we're keeping this, and how much do you kind of concede, like, okay, maybe we could afford to lose that. You know what I mean?
I know there's like there's a fair bit of back and forth there where you kind of go like like I mean there's a lot of the stuff he said has kind of made made a lot of sense where you go like, yeah, actually, like if we, it's even just little things like, oh, if we cut out that guitar part there, that actually that makes it sound way better. Like, and
Yeah,
if like, yeah, you're kind of, but then you're going like, okay, but like we're not, like there is compromises that you reach with him, like and all that, like and no, no, like I mean, we're quite open to hearing it and all that, like and um we're like I mean, no, there's like there's been no massive blowouts or no massive rows or anything like that. Yeah, or so
well, I
it's
meant just
yeah,
more from the kind of perspective of artist and producer working in tandem, not necessarily saying conflicting or anything like that. I was
yeah.
just wondering where you feel like that kind of, I don't know, dynamic works.
Well, I think those. Well, I kind of think like it's funny like when you actually like start working on a song yourself and you have certain ideas of how it's going to go. And then I think the minute you actually bring it in to a band and bring it in to other people and go, and start working with them, it's going to, it's automatically going to change from what you had in your head
Hmm
originally. It's, like the second other people start playing it, it changes. It's not,
Yeah.
it's, it's never gonna quite sound like how you envision it anyways. And but like I've kind of found though a lot of the time that like say working with Ozzy and working with Owen like like he's a fantastic drummer and like it's a lot of the time I'll have like an idea for a song in my head and then like he puts in a beat behind it that completely changes the feel of it and it's like
hmm
well you know pretty much nearly every time I've gone like actually that sounds way better that actually
Yeah.
that's a massive improvement on what I was actually thinking of there like so yeah, that so it's worked out pretty well that way. So like, so in terms of I do kind of think yeah, you bring you go the minute you go play your song with someone else, like they're going to put a fresh spin on it. They're going to put a fresh perspective on it. And I kind of think like working with your man Richie as producer, it it's kind of another level of that, like where you're going, like you have this song that you've been playing like for a couple of years in front of people, and then you bring it to him, and then he's like saying like, okay, cut out that guitar part, sing this part better, or whatever it is, it's kind of like actually yeah, like it's I suppose it's kind of more he gives you or he's well he kind of gives for himself anyways, he gives more direction towards me, if that makes sense. Whereas like when I'm playing with other band members, it's more like I'm kind of, like say like when I'm working with Aussie, and they're like, well, very rarely you're going to say like oh, you have to do this or whatever. Whereas
Yeah.
with Richie, it's kind of definitely more like okay, yeah, no, this is what you actually need to do for
It's
this
more
guitar part,
demand than
like,
a
and I'll,
request.
yeah, exactly, yeah, and and it's actually like, I'm like I have to say, like, yeah, generally he has been right with a lot of this stuff, like,
Yeah.
it's yeah, I, no, it has been good that way, like,
Generally being the operative word.
yeah.
Yeah, so how do you think this new, like from what you've heard so far, or even the demos that you might have recorded for it, how do you feel this album does differ then from your previous release? Because I think your previous single Luddite was definitely your strongest performance as an act. I think not only production wise, but I think just you can really see how tight you guys have gotten. Because like if you listen to your music chronologically, which I'd encourage people to do, I think um you really see a great growth. And I think like that was like your previous single was just it reminded me. It's probably a weird comparison, I don't know, but like it reminded me of Curb Dog, if you know, it kind of
The
yeah.
AstroTurf 4 thing
No,
or
no,
the
Luddite.
dice.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, okay,
So it
yeah.
kind of gave me a similar vibe to that, and like I think it's kind of interesting, like how you guys have kind of come in terms of production and as a performer. Yeah. So I was wondering how you
Thanks.
feel that this new one elevates or capitalizes on that.
Oh, well, thanks very much. Yeah, actually, no, I do see where you're coming from with Curb Dog. Yeah,
Yeah.
comparison. Yeah, no, no, actually, that's yeah, no,
It
that
reminded me
does
of their
make total
song
sense.
Dry Riser a little bit.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
remember that one actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Went
that
through
was a
that
great
a
tune. Yeah,
bit.
I know that's a good comparison.
Yeah.
Um, oh, sorry. How does what we're doing now compare?
Yeah, the new EP. Yeah.
Well, so far sounds a lot heavier. Kind of sounds a lot bigger. Just it's I guess that's kind of the main difference here. It it sounds kind of fuller than what we've done before. Also, like your man Richie is kind of doing a lot more work on the vocals here for himself, so that's very much for both of us, and that's very much appreciated. Yeah, no, actually the first thing you said was like you're not a singer, so which is like which could be like which yeah is very true, and it's one of those things that could be like yeah, could be seen as like a total slight or total insult, but it's kind of
Sure.
like, but it is one of those things that it's kind of more like like don't yeah I don't know, don't try and pretend you're in Weezer or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
just kind of more, work more naturally with your voice rather than trying and strain it and fuck it up, like, and all
Sure.
that. Yeah.
And one thing
I
I did
do.
notice about
Yeah.
your previous productions was that the vocal tracks were quite low in the mix. Is that something that's going to
Yeah.
be continuing with this, or are the vocals going to be more in the front?
They're going to be more in the front. They just ended up like that because I didn't really know how to fix
Okay.
vocals, and yeah, no, and also as well, I think when you're trying to, I think you can't mix your own voice objectively either.
Sure. Yeah.
So like I think as well, the minute you hear it, you're kind of like, oh, it's too loud. Like, it's like when
Yeah.
you hear
Yeah. Yeah.
yourself on a tape recorder at all, you're like, oh, no, we'll
It's
just
me
take that
editing
down.
this podcast.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's just
exactly.
sad.
Yeah. And like even like say yeah, it's just like, yeah, no, that's too loud. We'll turn that down a little bit. Um no, even with yeah, so that was yeah, like yeah, especially at first one, yeah, the vocals were very low, like, and it's they're pretty much in inaudible in a lot of it. Yeah, even just anytime I do listen back, like yeah, you can it's very hard to hear, like,
Hmm.
and yeah, no, that was just basically I didn't know what I was at. I didn't know what I was doing there, so no, it's yeah, no, it definitely wasn't a conscious thing, like.
Yeah. Well, that's everything I had to ask. Is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap up, or
No, I can't really think of anything
yeah,
at the moment. No, but oh no, it was funny. I do remember, I do remember hearing someone like doing a review of that Luddite single before, and like
yeah,
yeah, like just when we were talking about vocals and all that, they were like, oh, the guy is trying to sound like really grungy and all that. He was trying to sound like 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 I don't know, some like early 90s thing, but I was like, not that skilled. I'm not actually trying to sound, I think the only thing I was aiming for was like I was like recording it late at night up here in the attic, and I was like, I'm really just trying not to wake up my kids. Like, yeah,
Well, that's actually kind of cool. So the music does have this kind of like patchwork prior to it now, and it's like that's like that's really interesting. I think that's a very kind of sort of modern thing in a way where it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
this, and I've actually heard from a few artists now at this point where it's like sometimes I've interviewed people who are like in one, like in the US, like in one state and another, and it's just
yeah,
like it's like it's insane like how
yeah,
kind of music is coming together, but like when you listen to it, it sounds like a cohesive whole.
yeah, yeah. I think like because I think actually that's how Deerhoof recorded a lot
Yeah,
of their albums over the last 10 years. Because I think they all live in different states now and all
yeah,
that. Uh, um, But yeah, like I mean, that is kind of how we've just been piecing it together. Like it's actually, but that's one thing. It is actually nice to just get in and actually be working with someone face to face and have all three of us in the room as well at the same time doing it because like you know, like it is like you can get it done, but like I mean, we only did two singles last year because it takes fucking ever doing it. It's
yeah,
like
sure.
because it's like you'll go like I'll say like one of us will record a guitar part or something, and then we'll send it on someone else, and then like you'll kind of go and say like, does that sound okay? And then you have to wait for them to finish work or finish whatever they're doing,
Right.
or like
Yeah.
maybe in a couple of days' time, get back and go like, no, or yeah, like yeah, re-record that, or like yeah, that's not quite right, or like and like even as well with that Lou Tide song, we've just spent so long like sending mixes back and forth to each other, like, is that okay? Is that okay? Like yeah, and and like you just end up kind of disappearing and down a rabbit hole, and so it's actually another great thing to with having Richie there is like he like he really knows what he was doing there, like, and he's very capable, very confident there, like, and all that. So yeah, it's good just to actually hand that over to someone else, and yeah, not have to worry about that. Like,
Yeah. Perfect.
yeah,
Yeah, so last thing, just stream the music. Listen to the music. That's the last thing I'd just add.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Just for plug at the end.
Oh,
Uh
sorry. You're just sorry. Which now?
oh no, just for the plug at the end. I was just saying listen to the music.
Oh yeah, very good. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Thanks very
Yeah,
much for
it's
your
all
time,
on
man.
Spotify and yeah, wherever else. Yeah, no
Wherever
better.
good music is found.
Exactly, and not so good.
Thanks for your time.
All right, thanks a million.
Thank you for listening to that episode of PostBurnout.com interviews. We hope you enjoyed and stay tuned for more.